everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to talk about my experience with microvascular decompression surgery, aka brain surgery. Fun stuff, right? So I ended up having the microvascular decompression surgery for my trigeminal neuralgia, which I've talked about in a previous video. And it was interesting. It was brain surgery, so of course it was interesting. Cut all my hair off, which I need to trim it again. My hair's been growing back fast. And I had that surgery on June 21st. So 7 weeks ago. They went in right there, and my head still hurts from it. I mean, the stitches are gone, the scabbing's gone, but it still, I don't know, hurts because they put a metal plate in, all of that. I had complications. I ended up rupturing my disc in my a disc in my lower back because the anesthesiologist was not paying attention, did not paralyze me all the way, and I ended up thrashing around, choking on my breathing tube. They put a breathing tube down your throat, and blood ended up mixing in with my spinal fluid, pulling down to my back, which hurt like hell. It's called aseptic meningitis. So it's not the kind that you can pass to other people. It's just because there's an infection in your blood. So the mixing of the spinal fluid, infection, automatic infection. So once that was gone, after 2 rounds of antibiotics, my back was still killing me because blood is thicker than spinal fluid, so it ended up pulling down when I started moving around. And it, that, like I said, that hurt because the nerves are just firing away trying to fight off the infection, everything. But when I went to get my stitches out is when the meningitis was clear. He said that he believed that I ruptured my disc because like I said, I'm still having back problems. I have a heating pad on my back right now. I can hardly walk, maybe 2 feet at the most, which is to get to my bathroom. That's how far away my bathroom is from my bed. I'm really usually in bed mostly. And then, so I got that to deal with. I had an MRI this past Saturday. We'll see what that says. This next week. And then 3 weeks post-op, I started feeling all the pain in my face just coming back. And sometimes you'll get ghost pains. But mine's not ghost pains because literally I have atypical trigeminal neuralgia. So I have constant pain there. So that you could say it's ghost pains if it's that because of the constant pain. But when I touch my face, flares. My head, it's really bad. And you could tell I'm in pain or when it's really bad because my face will go red, it'll swell, the side of my TN will start drooping. It's bad. But also I've noticed other things, like I can't really connect words when I'm talking sometimes. And it'll be sometimes the most simple word, it could be a complicated word, and then I can't find a replacement word for what I'm trying to say if it is a complicated word or a simple word. I can't figure out anything. So yeah, and I had a job which I lost because of having the brain surgery. It was a really good job, and I enjoyed it somewhat, even though some of the employees didn't do their job. Even my boss didn't do his job. I don't think he works there anymore either, because of when they let me go, I called corporate and I pitched a fit because I was promised by the GM that I would still have my job, and that was not the case. They even applied for me to be let go while I was still in the hospital, recovering. So, fun stuff, right? And the reason they let me go is health reasons. That's what they said. And funny story is, they knew I had health problems. Like, I told them about the trigeminal neuralgia. I told them I was having brain surgery and the reason, which is the trigeminal neuralgia. And I did sometimes, when I was pushed too hard, have really bad flare-ups. I mean, everyone who has trigeminal neuralgia, if they're pushed too hard, goodbye. I mean, they're done for. Some people are stronger than others. I'm not that strong, but I try to be for the sake of my job. And so, yeah, I was let go. I did not call out. I did not leave work early. I was never written up for even coming into work late or anything. And the GM did some pretty shady stuff when it came to me working there. When I had a day off and I was taking my husband to the hospital for his issues, he would try to get information from the hospital on my husband because an ex of his worked there. So he thought if he had my husband's name, that his ex would give him the information on my husband's health, which goes against HIPAA. And obviously, I did not give him my husband's name, because my husband did not feel comfortable with that. I did not feel comfortable with that stuff. So, yeah. Let's see, what else? So, go ahead and watch my other video to see about my what trigeminal neuralgia is. But just to give you kind of like a little 411, it's chronic face pain in either side. It can be bilateral too. And it's from the trigeminal nerve. You can have compression, you can have MS, you can have a tumor, but it causes your nerves to fire off like to cause pain, basically. And it feels like, for me anyways, it feels like a permanent taser is just going off in my face. I have my good days, I have my bad days. There's days where it's not as painful and I can kind of do a little more, but then there's other days where it can be so bad where I go to the hospital, or I just don't do anything. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Anything all day. My medication makes me tired as well, like all day. I'm still on a whole bunch of medication, even though after the surgery, typically you want to be weaned off. But I was never told, so I never did. Luckily, and that's a good for this case. I was never weaned off because when my TN came back, they ended up upping my medication. It still doesn't work. They know it doesn't work, but they still have to try, kind of deal. And for those that also don't know, this is nicknamed the suicide disease. And when I tell you I understand why it's called the suicide disease, I mean it. I mean, there's some days where I don't think I can make it another second. And in my head, I still believe that there's one day that I'm just not going to be able to, because I'm going to have this for life. And I've already had one failed MVD, microvascular brain surgery. It's failed me once, and I don't know. And I'm only 25, so for me to go through all this debilitating pain, especially with all these people trying to make opioid drugs very hard to get. I'm not talking about on the streets. I'm talking about period. Like, can't get them in hospitals, can't get a prescription for them, stuff like that. There's people out there trying to make it hard for other people to get. If it comes to that, I will not be able to make it. I mean, I have better days when I have something like Dilaudid or morphine or fentanyl, something very strong. I know there's other drugs out there that are not as strong as those, like hydrocodone or codeine or stuff like that, but I'm allergic, so I have to have the higher stuff because the lower stuff does diddly squat. So this opioid drug thing, I mean, I understand where they're coming from, and I'm sorry for them, and if they've had losses or whatever, but they've got to remember those people made a choice to take those drugs or to abuse those drugs. People like me with the chronic pain, we need those drugs to survive, or we won't. People with trigeminal neuralgia will not survive if they do not have a strong pain medication. There have been people who've literally killed themselves because of trigeminal neuralgia. And it's sad. And I don't want to be that statistic, but I'm afraid one day I will be. So, that's part of my story. And that's an update on my health. Next time you see me, maybe I'll have something shorter. Maybe I'll have a wig on. Or maybe I'll be telling you I'm having another surgery. But for now, I'm going to bed. Thank you for watching, and I hope you'll watch another one. Stay sweet, and see you next time. Bye.